Well, the long wait is over. It is now time for the 2019 DCFL season to begin. As a new road to Arrowhead Stadium is about to begin, with now 12 teams instead of 10 from last year, with the addition, of course, of the LA Mean Green Machines and the Philadelphia Sonics. And there are 16 weeks, remember, instead of 18 like last time out, as each division has 6 teams as well. So we get started with my Baltimore Charms visiting Anthony's New York Gangsters after last year's collapse near the end of the year when I had a shot to make the playoffs but lost 3 games in a row. Meanwhile, Anthony has the longest drought, I'm losing streak in the league, losing 6 in a row. Definitely had a bad start to end last year off, but both of us are hoping to get a win to start off the year strong. And New York would get the win 27-20 as they went up 17-0 very early on. My Charm tried to make a comeback, but the stingy New York defense prevented that, along with forcing that 17-0 start to the game. So not a good start for my team, just like last year, lost their first 2 games. Hope that won't happen this year, but right now, New York, just like last year, off to a good start, winning their first game. Then after that, it's the Charlotte Bobcats visiting the Jacksonville Scouts, as the Scouts, remember, were runner-up for the title game last year. Hopefully they don't suffer no hangover, as the Bobcats, a good offense and not really good defense, trying to make something out of their bad finish last year, but they're going to have a difficult task on the road against one of the 2 best teams right now in the league. But they would pull off an upset as the Bobcats won 33-30, as Jacksonville was up 24-10 going into halftime, but they collapsed and allowed the Scouts, Bobcats, to go 23 points to their 6, as they were shut down offensively. They couldn't do anything, and Charlotte pulled off the incredible comeback. Unbelievable. Not the start Jacksonville wanted to start the year, but could this be the beginning of a trend, of a hangover possibly? We have to wait and see, I guess, but not a good start for Scouts. Quite an impressive victory, though, for the Bobcats to start the year. And after that, the last game of the Eastern Conference is the Pittsburgh Power visiting the Philadelphia Sonics, as they're playing their first game ever. And Pittsburgh, of course, remember, playoff team last year, had made a massive comeback near the end of the year to get into the playoffs. Could they be a challenge in the Eastern Conference? Well, the Sonics actually make a statement for the first game. We're going to have to wait and see. And the Power won it. It took overtime, 30-24, as Philadelphia played pretty good for the entire game against a playoff team last year. In fact, their defense, which is one of the worst in the league, thanks to Najee's stupid trades. Despite that, though, they forced 4 turnovers against a really good offense. It took 500 yards for Pittsburgh to get the win. So, wow, blown opportunity to start off the year for the Sonics on their first game. But hey, they looked good in their first game. Maybe all those trades won't hurt them in the end of the year, but I guess we'll have to see as the games continue on. But right now, tough overtime loss to start the year for the Sonics. And then after that, we go over to the Western Conference, starting off with the Chicago Staleys visiting the Indianapolis Rapid Stallions, who are the defending champs, as you can see on their new logo referencing that, as the Stallions have been very busy doing a whole bunch of trades, or like ripping off Najee, as they look like definite contenders to defend their title in 2019, as the Staleys were the best team last year, but 8-10 didn't really help them out that much, as they're going to have to start on the road to try and recover from their terrible season. But it was a giant meltdown for Chicago as Indianapolis won it 52-3 in the most lopsided game in DCFL history, I believe. At first, it was going somewhat okay for Chicago, even though they were down 24-3 going into the 4th quarter. But then the 4th quarter came, and oh dear God, they completely and utterly collapsed offensively. They could not stop turning over the ball, which gave Indianapolis perfect opportunities to score 4 touchdowns in the 4th quarter. In fact, Chicago had only 226 yards in total offensively. Indianapolis had over 450, double almost. Actually, it is double. Wow, what an incredible performance by Indianapolis. An absolute debacle for Chicago after they were playing just okay somewhat in this game. Could this be a statement for Indianapolis to go for title number 2 in 2019? Guess we'll have to wait and see. Then after that, it's the Oakland Pillagers visiting the other expansion team, the LA Mean Green Machines. As Oakland, remember, was the worst team last year, although they played pretty good near the end of the year. Let's see if maybe a year later, kind of like the Raiders did in 14 for 15, maybe you could turn them into a possible playoff contender this year. Meanwhile, the Mean Green Machines begin their season as an expansion team at home against the worst team last year. If the Philadelphia Sonics could almost beat Pittsburgh, maybe the Mean Green Machines could actually have a shot to beat Oakland to start off the year. But they couldn't, as Oakland would win it 16-10 in a defensive struggle. Oakland won despite only getting 223 yards of offense, but it didn't matter because their defense forced 4 turnovers, 3 fumbles too, and recovered every one of them. And that was the deciding factor, as LA got over 150 yards more offense, but they could not get anything going offensively in terms of points, nor could they stop turnover the ball. And a good chunk of those points that Oakland got was because of the turnovers. So a big day for Oakland's defense to get them that win. A tough start for Oakland, but hey, both expansion teams lost their first game by score, so not bad impression to start off their existence. And then finally, it's the Seattle Tenyo visiting the Phoenix Devils, as Seattle last year. Very lopsided team, the worst offense but the #1 defense in the league, and made the playoffs, remember. Meanwhile, the Phoenix Devils were the exact opposite. Elite offense but terrible defense. Let's see how well these handle. An elite offense against the #1 defense. Who would win this titanic battle? And it would be Phoenix with the victory 19-14, as although their offense couldn't do anything, in fact, they had 4 turnovers against them, they still managed to win because Seattle could not get anything going offensively. And allowed a fumble too, that might have went back for a score, which definitely didn't help them much at all, especially since it might have cost them the victory otherwise. Seattle's defense completely shut down an elite offense, but their offense themselves could not score points when they badly need to. Just like one extra touchdown would have probably won it for them. And just like that, they're starting off the year with a losing record. Meanwhile, Phoenix, second year in a row, starting off with a win. So now week 1 is in the books. As you can see, here is the current stands right now in the Eastern Conference. New York leads it, then followed by Pittsburgh Power, then Charlotte Bobcats, and right behind Jacksonville Scouts, Philadelphia Sonics, and my Baltimore Charm last in the division. Meanwhile, in the Western Conference, the Indianapolis Rapid Stallions have the #1 record. Right behind them is the Oakland Pillagers, and then the Phoenix Devils, and then the losing teams, Seattle, LA, and Chicago. As the record, tiebreakers are still the same for last year. Record, head-to-head performance, point differential, and then a coin toss, pretty much. So now here's the current stands. However, unlike last year where there was 4 playoff teams, I think I might actually have it expanded to 6 playoff teams with 6 in each conference. I'm not sure. I have to bring it up on the server for a vote. So who knows? We're going to have a division winner and then 1, maybe 2 wild card teams possibly for each conference. So right now, New York would lead the division, hosting Pittsburgh in the conference if we go by the current seeds, and in the Western Conference it would be Oakland visiting Indianapolis. But who knows exactly how they'll be. So now we take a look at the Week 2 games, as we'll start with the LA Mean Green Machines visiting my Baltimore Charm. One of them's going to get their first win of the year. And then it'll be Indianapolis visiting Charlotte. That'll be quite interesting, especially since only one of them is going to remain undefeated after that. Then Jacksonville at Chicago. Someone's going to get their first win. Then New York at Seattle. Then Pittsburgh at Phoenix. That could be interesting. And then finally Philadelphia at Oakland. So we have 6 undefeated teams right now. We're going to have guaranteed 2 of them unless they tie. Although I'm not sure if ties are possible under the current setup for the game. We'll have to wait and see on that, but definitely keep an eye out on Chicago. Charlotte hosting Indianapolis, and Pittsburgh at Phoenix, since those are teams with winning records right now. But that's it for right now. See you guys hopefully soon for Week 2 of the DCFL season for 2019.